What's up guys, Jabrel here from Neo Vintage Gaming, and as you can tell, this is a different type of video than you normally see on the channel. I was kind of brainstorming different types of content that we can have on the channel that take different forms while the podcast is on hiatus, and I kind of came up with this idea. Too often the modern gaming landscape is kind of dominated with talk of like things that we hate and things that we dislike and being super critical of various things that we like changed, whether it's disdain for particular developers, modes, or like games in their entirety. And so I instead wanted to make videos that celebrate what we love, and not so much because of critical acclaim and stuff that's so beloved in the industry, but rather things that bring us tremendous joy. And so I thought of no better place to start than Sonic Adventure. Now, opinions have circulated about the quality of Sonic Adventure pretty much since it's launched in 1998. Also, I'm not the first one to talk about the love of the game. There's lots of great analysis videos out there that you can find on YouTube. Maybe I'll link some down below, some of my favorite ones. It's pretty much widely accepted by all measures that it's been outdone by its 2001 sequel, and I don't necessarily disagree. However, I just wanted to focus on the first entry of the series because that's the one that I had as a kid, and that's the one that I play the most, and the one that I have the softest spot in my heart in. So my journey with this game began in 2003, and it began with the release of the director's cut of the Dreamcast original on the Nintendo GameCube. This version was called Sonic DX Director's Cut, but I also did play the original version on Dreamcast when I visited my friend's house. I remember playing this over and over again because I didn't have a memory card at the time, and so I had to basically learn the game inside and out and play it from start to finish every time I loaded up the game, which kind of gave me this insane muscle memory. But as you can see through the gameplay that I've included in this video, my skills have diminished super over time, and I captured this footage on an original Nintendo GameCube, so forgive me for the blur at times. There's other footage that I captured elsewhere that are of higher quality, but generally speaking, the gameplay is a little bit fuzzy, and that's just because I kind of did it composite cable to HDMI, so that doesn't really up-res it or anything, so I apologize for the quality of the video. When I make future videos, the quality might be better depending on the console that I'm capturing from. So I fell in love with the world first. So many diverse environments, from like sun-drenched resorts that you start the game with, to beaches, to amusement parks, to basically giant skyships. Like, it's insane. And it even plays with time to take you back to ancient ruins, which are obviously inspired by like ancient Mayan civilizations. Specifically, I think it takes from a city named Tikal, and that obviously comes back at full circle with a character named Tikal, so that's pretty dope reference there. But basically it goes back in time, and you see the ancient Echidna's civilization in a place called the Mystic Ruins, and that's where you meet Tikal. And it's just stuff like that it's such a diverse array of places that not only differentiate it from a lot of games at that time, but even other Sonic titles. Now, another point that I really like about this game is diversity of gameplay. You basically get everything from 3D shoot 'em ups to kind of like a 3D platformer with the normal gameplay, all the way to pinball simulation in Casinopolis, which I always mess up the name. I think that's how it's pronounced. I don't know, Casinopolis. I'm sorry. But not to mention, this is probably the most superior version to play a Sonic pinball game over Sonic Spinball itself. No shade to that game, I understand. Shout out to the Genesis, one of my favorite consoles of all time. Sonic Spinball, loved that game growing up. But if you want to play a Sonic pinball game, I'm telling you, the version in Sonic Adventure is pretty superior. Now, the biggest thing that I probably love about this game is the soundtrack. Now, Sonic games as a general franchise are known for their amazing soundtracks. Adventure 2 probably has my favorite Sonic song, period, which is Cityscape. I know, basic, sorry. But generally speaking, front to back, I think Sonic Adventure has one of my favorite gaming soundtracks altogether, and I did mention this on the Neo Vintage podcast on a previous episode when we talked about our favorite game soundtracks. So I have to give a big shout out to the composer Jun Senoue. I think that's how it's pronounced, but he's basically the lead guitarist of Crush 40, and I think he also does a lot of the songwriting. So he absolutely knocked it out of the park with this game, and you have such a diverse array of different sounds. You get like dirty and grimy songs, kind of like that Red Mountain intense theme, everything to like the pop-centric Amy's theme, something with a little bit more edge when Shadow comes in and Knuckles. Gotta give another shout out to the Amy's theme, My Sweet Passion. I was like obsessed with that song as a kid, and I know weird, like a lot of people gravitate towards like the other songs, but that one really hits different. Not to mention the big band ensemble piece Blue Star, which is the Casinopolis song. Again, Sorry if I butchered that level name. But yeah, man, Blue Star is absolutely incredible. I remember when I was in high school in jazz band, I actually tried to find like annotated versions of that song to be able to play with the big band. Lo and behold, they said, no, we're not interested in playing that. I was pretty pissed about that at the time. The last point I would probably say why I love Sonic Adventure so much is bang for your buck. You get kind of like a multi-perspective story with 6 playable characters, which is pretty impressive. You get Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Big, and then E102 Gamma, which is the robot that, you know, Eggman builds. And it's a fairly quick campaign, but they do a decent job telling different stories in the same environment. And typically when you have to replay a game in the same places over and over again, it can get a little bit repetitive, but certain games stick out in my mind who do really good jobs with that. One game comes to mind, Nier Automata. Another one, I would say Sonic Adventure, does a pretty good job. And would these campaigns be considered like revolutionary? No, not necessarily. I think they're entirely fine. But generally speaking, I think you kind of have a pretty fun experience front to back, and I think the campaigns are brief enough to not make things repetitive, but long enough to really give you a full featured experience and not feel like you can bang through every single mode in under an hour. I think you can honestly get a clean 6 to 10 hours out of it, especially once you get involved with the Chao Garden. If you get involved in that kind of meta game right there, you can easily burn dozens of hours there. So in conclusion, I just wanted to explain on a very, surface level why I really love Sonic Adventure and why I think this is a game at least worth revisiting. Obviously, the 3D game era was a really kind of uncomfortable adjustment period for the game industry as a whole. And we saw this evidence pretty much through the N64, PS1, and Dreamcast era. But I feel like in many ways, Sonic Adventure managed to do something very unique at the time, in a way transitioning kind of like a side-scrolling speed-based runner to a 3D platformer, which a lot of games weren't able to successfully do. Yes, I'm talking to you, Bubsy 3D, and in many ways some people would probably say that Sonic Adventure was that kind of failure, but in my view, everything they sought to do on this game, they accomplished and did pretty well. By no means do I think it's like a, Mario 64 or anything like that, but I think for a 3D transition and also kind of introducing a hub world, which funnily enough with the sequel game they kind of scrapped that, and in many ways it kind of proved that this world may not be the most necessary. But I think in terms of a smaller open world 3D title on the Dreamcast, they did a fantastic job. Not to mention you had games to contend with, open world wise, kind of like a game like Shenmue kind of laid the framework for a game like Yakuza. So I think this game laid the foundation for a lot of 3D open world games in a way that I don't think a lot of people like to give it credit for. And there's just a real unique charm to this game. But again, by no means am I trying to say that this is like some amazing, fantastic, finely tuned game front to back. But I think there's a lot to love here. And I had a tremendous amount of fun with it growing up, and I still have a tremendous amount of fun when I play through it to this day. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, way more to come. I have multiple games that I want to do dedicated videos about. So let me know down below what games do you love, and if you love Sonic Adventure, tell me what you love about it. Till next time, this is Jabril from Neo Vintage Games.